Yo, what's the deal, everybody? It's DJ Campbell. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Let's have a discussion about family curses. Okay, everybody has those family curses that they just seem to not be able to break. Whether it's infidelity, whether it's health issues, whether it's not being or not coming from a household where you have both parents in the house. Okay, at some point we have to take control of our own destiny and our own future and say enough is enough. Okay. I know for me personally, I don't come from a family that has the greatest health history. We tend to suffer from high blood pressure, diabetes, just a lot of different health issues that prevent us from lasting on this earth for a while. So for me, my health is a big thing. I come from a family of athletes: football, basketball, volleyball, track, softball, baseball, wrestling, whatever you want to call it. My family, we've grown up in sports. Has been a big part of our family. And as you know, with sports, you can possibly get away with eating whatever you want. You can possibly eat this burger and these fries because you're going to go work it off once you go to practice or once you go to the gym or whatever. The problem is when we stop being athletes and we're no longer active, we tend to eat the same way, which is a problem because we're gonna blow up. We blow up all that salt that we're still holding in our body. Here comes hypertension. Here comes diabetes. Here comes high blood pressure. Here comes having to shoot yourself with insulin. Here comes having to take blood pressure medication, or you can't really partake in things that you used to enjoy because now you have to worry about your blood pressure. You can't get too excited, things that sort. You can't eat red meat or salty foods like you like because it's going to make that blood pressure spike or whatever it may be. So that's one thing that I'm really taking heed to in terms of breaking my family curse. Not very many people really within my family take it upon themselves or take the initiative to say, we're not the healthiest people, so let's change that. As a former athlete, I just retired from the NFL maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I'm taking it upon myself to really be that change within my family. I'm always going to the gym. I'm constantly trying to eat right. I'm constantly getting on the rest of the people in my family. I'm constantly getting on the nerves about, hey, you shouldn't really be eating that. Or, hey, have you tried to do this? Why are you complaining about XYZ when you don't even want to do ABC? That's me. I've learned to accept that role within my family as well because somebody has to do it. Somebody has to show our younger generation that it's okay to be healthy. I remember growing up, we used to make fun of my uncle and his side of the family because they didn't eat the same way that we did. They carrots and celery and healthy food and no preservatives, and no, you don't need to add sugar, it already has sugar in it, or why are you adding salt to it? And it's like, hey, I want to because I want it to taste good. But then when you look at it, everybody on my uncle's side of the family, I swear they're all lasting till they're in like their 80s and 90s, living long lives. And so it took for me up until about maybe like 4 or 5 years ago to really realize, like, hey man, there's a reason why these people are lasting so long and we're not. Whatever it may be, people in my family, we are leaving way too early. And so somebody has to be that change. I got 2 little boys, a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, who I want to be able to run around with and play with as long as possible. I want to be able to play with their kids as long as possible. But I can't do that if I don't take care of myself now. I don't want to be reactive and wait until a doctor has to tell me, okay, hey, you need to start taking care of yourself. I don't want to have to wait until then. I'm going to do it on my own. Another one is just being a present father in my kids' lives. If anybody really knows my story, my mother was taken from me when I was 6. My younger brother was 5. My older sister was 12. My mother was taken from us when at that early age back in '96, and my father went to prison. He went to prison for 14 years. Although he was not the one who pulled the trigger, I still felt that he abandoned my brother and my sister and I. I honestly felt that by my mother being taken away from us and by my father going off to prison, I became a statistic. Another young black boy who has to grow up without the presence of his father in the home. Granted, I will never take anything away from my Uncle Delaney. For those of you who know him, that's my dad. He's raised me since I was 6 years old. I'm about to be 31. That is my dad. His name is Pops in my phone. But there is also a difference between having a father figure in the house and having your father in the house. There is a big difference. Growing up, it was fairly tough because my 2 younger siblings, well, they're my cousins, but I call them my siblings because they're my brothers. I don't really have to explain that. They were calling, hey, mom, hey, dad in the house, while my brother and my sister and I, hey, V, hey, Laney. Like I said before, Delaney, that's my dad, but there's a difference in being able to call somebody mom, call somebody dad. There's a huge difference. So for me, that was pretty rough growing up, and I don't want to be that for my kids. I'm like one of the proudest fathers that you'll ever see, and I tell my wife all the time, and I used to tell her, like, being a dad is a very big thing for me. I think that a lot of people take for granted the title of being a father or being a parent in general. I think it became a social thing, like, hey, let's go out here and have these kids, like it's just a thing to do. When that's not the case. This is a big responsibility. And for somebody who grew up the way that I did, I want my children to grow up in my mind how I wanted to be raised, with my mother, with my father. Granted, I'm a firm believer. I'm a believer in the man upstairs. I honestly believe that if those events did not take place on February 29th, 1996, that I would not be the man that I am today. I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason, and for that reason, it led me to being one of the best high school players in the state. It led me to getting my scholarship offers. It led me to getting the opportunity to achieve a dream of playing in the NFL. It led me to being with my wife. I want to be so present in my children's lives that I'm obsessed with it. I'll say that for lack of better words. I'm obsessed with it. I want to be there every step of the way for my boys. I want to be that shoulder to lean on, to cry on, that man, I got so much love for my pops. I want to be that old guy who my kids, when they're in their 40s, they come back and like, hey, what's going on, pops? Like, that means so much, especially in today's society with everything that's going on. George Floyd's daughter will never be able to be walked down the aisle by him. Do y'all get that? That is big, man. Many of our African American brothers today whose fathers aren't present within their lives, people don't realize they've missed out on so much. First of all, being a black man in society today, yeah, it is rough. But guess what? It's bomb as hell at the same time. Don't get it twisted. I love being a black man. I wouldn't want to be anything else. You know why? Because like my man Euro said, everybody wants our rhythm, but not everybody wants our blues. But at the same time, our blues is what makes us some of the coldest people on this earth. Straight up. The fact that we can go through so much, yet we can be so successful, not just in athletics. We're successful in athletics, education, in the medical field, entrepreneurs. We are some of the most strivingest, I don't even think that's a word. I don't care. We're some of the most go-getter people that there are. Bringing that back to, that's how I want my kids to see me. As that, man, daddy just don't stop. Daddy's always trying to achieve. Daddy's always trying to do X, Y, Z for us. One of the last things that I really want to do, and it really hit me. Just being that man that our black women need. And fellas, let's put up, it's a daily grind to be the man that our black women need. It is a daily grind. Just because you get married does not mean that is it. You have to keep evolving. You have to keep learning. You have to keep changing. I hate that saying that, oh, you switched up on me. You changed on me. You damn right I changed up on you. You know why? Because I have a wife, a beautiful black queen. First of all, shout out to my wife, Alacia Campbell, aka Certified Natural. So if y'all get a chance, go follow her YouTube. It's fire, okay? But I have a wife, my black queen. I have to constantly evolve and change for her because she needs new things as she progresses and she changes within her life. I have to change and evolve with her. With growing and evolving, you have your setbacks. You have your ups and you have your way downs. I remember in college, I had a girlfriend, and I was not the most faithful person. Everybody knows this. My wife knows this. We've talked about this. I was not the most faithful person to her. And it really hurt her. It really hurt her. And I remember feeling not incompetent, but I remember feeling just like a dog because of the way that my father was to my mother. And so I remember when I was out there in those streets and I was like, this is not right. I don't know why I'm doing this. And I legit remember bringing myself to tears because I'm like, dang, I'm just like how I don't want to be. I'm doing these things that I don't want to. I wasn't the most open person in my relationships. Very private, very to myself. Like, no, you can't touch my phone. Or don't go through my emails. Don't do this. Don't do that. But with growing and evolving, and especially when I got with my wife, I had to learn that if you really want to be that change that you really want to, you have to put yourself in those positions that you are uncomfortable with. So yeah, I wasn't the most comfortable person with people having access to my phone or having access to my computer or my social media. And although I wasn't hiding anything, I had to tell myself like Deej, like, if you really want to get past this, if you really want to be open, if you really want to be the man that you say that you want to be for your wife, leave your phone, give your wife the passcode, tell her all your passwords. And so I did it. And as crazy as y'all probably looking at me right now, it is what it is. You know why? Because at the end of the day, I don't care. There's a certain man that I want to be for Alacia Campbell. There's a certain man that I want to be. And by all means, I'm going to do that. Okay? I don't care if it makes you mad. I don't care if it makes you mad. I'm going to be that husband that Alacia Campbell needs. I'm going to be that father that Jordan Campbell and Elijah Campbell need. I'm going to do it. Too many times we get caught up in, well, this is how I was raised. This is all I see. You know, this is all that I know. I don't care. Okay? You know right from wrong. You know that, yeah, I grew up seeing my dad beat my mom. Or yeah, I saw my dad being my mom's drug supplier. Or yeah, my daddy wasn't there because he was out in the streets. Just because that is all you know, or that is all you've seen, does not mean that you can't go and learn. You can't be observant and say, hey, that's not right, let me switch that up. Because we've seen it. We've seen negative things happen, but then on the other hand, we say, well, it's what makes me comfortable because that's all I know. This is what makes me comfortable. There's no such thing as being a failure. There are failure moments where you have failed, but at the end of the day, those failure moments, those evolve and change into experiences. Be observant of others people's trials and tribulations. Be observant of everything, because you can learn from each and every scenario, each and everything that you see. And I think that's one thing that really helps me, is that I look at every opportunity. I look at every situation. I look at every failure, every downfall, every triumph. How did you get here? How did you get there? How did you succeed? How did you fail? And I do some weird morphing thing and I make it my own. Because at the end of the day, I have to figure this thing out in terms of how I want my life to be. Be the change. Okay, put yourself through those situations and let's see how far you can really go. Thanks for tuning in to my channel. Before you leave, like, comment, subscribe. Okay, if you guys have any suggestions about any topics that you guys want to discuss, hit me. All my social medias, they're in the link. Okay, let's talk about this stuff, man. We need a forum to really lay these things out. Let's be that change and let's talk about it. All right. See y'all. Yo.